in that park with the sunflowers with everyone else, where do you go?
Uh, with everybody just kind of appearing, it was morning, wasn't
Yeah, it's morning. Yeah.
it? Deep will kind of like look around, make sure this is actually Damaris of oh, and without Deep will kind of turn to say something to the group, but really just catch himself, give him a long look, and just turn to start walking away.
Ah, yes.
It was a hell of an event to be walking away from, but yeah, he's gonna go back to his shop.
Okay. You make your way back to Gold Polish shop. You can see familiar shops and businesses that you remember. There's maybe like one or two new ones. So not too much time has passed. You're not sure exactly how much. You do see the occasional like familiar face, so that calms you down a little bit. You're not. They may have like different haircuts, or maybe like something a little bit different going on, but nothing that couldn't explain in less. You've been gone less than 5 years. Like there's no noticeable difference within the city that you can see immediately.
Okay.
You make your way to Gold Paw Shop. Now, did we ever discuss where Gold Paw Shop is in Damaris?
No, we never did. We never really talked about how well it was doing.
Yeah. If you go into the RP of the Maelstrom, there's some pinned messages, and one of those is the map of Damaris.
Yeah, let me grab that real quick. Okay.
Um,
Is I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, go for it.
Was there more of a district, or was there like different zones that a shop typically would be in?
Yeah, there's different areas. Uh, Things that it places it wouldn't be would be probably anything on the bordering the uh, eastern wall. So like from Mills, I think it's Miles Hill. Yeah, Miles Hill, Port Side. Uh, it might be an Eastgate or District, Apothecary Ward, Farmers Quarter. Those are kind of you can kind of probably tell what those are. Like Farmers Quarter is kind of where all the farmers and it's the lower area kind of live where they operate in those fields and farmlands outside the city. They kind of live inside the
Okay.
city. You probably wouldn't be in one of the slums or Shepherd's Market. Shepherd's Market is kind of for all intents and purposes, it's more like a traveling merchants will come up here, set up shop or stalls, kind of like if you think about like the Renaissance Festival, like they
Yeah,
have
I got you.
they have storefronts there. They're not really owned or they'll rotate or whatever, and they come up and people can sell stuff there. But Gopal is an established area, so let me look that up. It's probably somewhere.
I would.
I mean, I know it's somewhere. It's just a dumb thing to say. It could be in Five Groves. That's a comfortable business and residential district. Eastgate is an adventure area and general goods. Um, let's see. Uh, it wouldn't be in Lions Den. Damaris University, obviously not. The shipyard, no. War District. Mm,
Spike here. I just got long silence followed by a bunch of jumbled things.
me?
Yeah, I did not catch any of that at all.
Oh, okay.
Went together.
Sorry. So it's probably gonna be in one of the three places. It'll probably either be in Eastgate, Five Groves, or Cofton. Eastgate's kind of like an adventurers area. It has, um, I think that's where the Dogwood, which is a multi-storied cramped hotel, the seething topography. It's a dwarf-owned map store.
If it's more of an adventuring area, that sounds about right up the alley
Yeah.
of what it would be.
Okay. And the name of her store was just was what exactly?
Honestly, I think we just went with something unoriginal like Gold Pop.
Okay. Gold. Okay, I'll just put Gold Paw. Yeah, so you can head there, no problem. The garden slash park you're in is in an area called the Gardens, which most of this area is like elaborately kept gardens surrounding the big citadel that is the Rosen Church.
Okay.
So you can head to Eastgate. You can find the shop relatively easily. Is there anything else you want to do before you enter?
No, honestly, just kind of marching home, like not angrily, but clearly not having his best day, and
Yeah.
just like I'm going home.
Uh, you open the door to the various knickknacks and wares that Goldpaw sells, and you can hear this much smoother, softer voice than mine saying, "Mon chéri, I would love to." You know, I'm not going to keep imitating it because I can't hold it up for very long. But you can hear that kind of slow, silky, kind of Frenchman's voice as he's trying to. It sounds like he's flirting with someone, but also trying to sell something.
Fair enough. And it's not in the person or persons aren't in direct sight from the door.
No, I imagine like there's like a aisles that kind of block the direct line of sight from the doorway to the counter.
Then yeah, he'll just start heading right towards the voices.
Um,
Not sneaking, not really being unabashed about it. It's his shop.
yeah, Deep Hiss kind of walks into view and he sees this um, long, lean man with a black goatee that's kind of not like it's not really long, but does come to a point, and it is finely trimmed. He has what appears to be some kind of lute on his back, and he is in his hand. He is offering up a gold like bracelet with like a single little area where there's kind of an etched um, lapis panel. And he's selling it to Goldpaw, who is looking at the item. And she seems kind of mm, bored, I guess. And as you kind of come in, she looks up to kind of greet the newest customer, and then her eyes go wide, and she sees you, and she kind of stops what she's doing. She comes around, and I mean, this is. I don't want. It's your character's backstory. I imagine Goldpaw's a little bit more reserved, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, that would be a good word for it.
Yeah. She goes, "Deep Hit, you're back. I I did not know you were still." And she kind of looks over at the guy and she goes, "I didn't expect you." Not like saying like she's trying to again make sure that this guy doesn't like overhear anything. Um,
Right. Deep isn't really going to be so candid. He will look at the guy and he'll give Goldpie what goes for a smile at this point. He probably smells like shit and is in bad shape. But looks up at the guy and says, I'm going to ask once. No, I'm going to tell you once. Please leave my store. We are closed for an event.
and he um, he's again like leaning over this counter, and he straightens up and he takes the bracelet and he kind of puts it in his pocket. He's wearing like a very nice leather vest that has like a purple stain to it, like it's purposely colored, and it has etched into it like it looks like um, I think it's Tribush, not Tribush, the symbols like of crescendos up by the collar where the vest is, and then it has the lines going down for like blank notes.
I got you.
And he has one of those. It's not tasteful because there's no such thing as a tasteful V-neck, um, but it is not as bad as it could be as far as how far his shirt plunges down his chest. Uh,
All right.
and he picks it up. He picks up his bracelet and he nods. And he goes, "Maybe some other time, Goldpaw." And he looks at you, and goes, "Excuse," and then he kind of walks past you, very smoothly, gracefully exiting the shop.
Uh, Deep will kind of make sure he's leaving,
Yeah,
and as he's watching him, just is there anyone else in the shop?
and she shakes her head. No.
Oh boy, we
Uh,
fucked up.
and she'll go and like lock the door, and then kind of pull you inside, back behind the counter, probably even like the wall behind the counter, probably pull you in there. I imagine there's probably like a small kitchenette right there, so she can like maybe have lunch and still hear people come in
Yeah.
to the shop. And she pulls you in there and like has you sit down, and she starts making what is DPS's favorite drink?
Um, like recreation or
Or otherwise, like just something that he would drink to like maybe calm himself or just kind of relax or
he'd probably have some kind of stronger herbal tea if
okay,
it's going to be like this has been a shit time.
yeah. So she'll set a kettle on a small, like cast iron stove, and the embers. She'll put like a few smaller logs in there and like a little bit of tinder so it heats up, and she'll sit down next to you and she goes, "It's okay. I'm glad you're here. You've you've been gone a while."
Oh fuck! How I don't have the words. Obviously, I'm
And she goes,
so
"It's."
happy to see.
She goes, I'm happy to see you too." And she'll use like a probably a tabaxi word for like beloved. Uh,
Hmm.
and then she goes, "You've been gone for about 11 months. I you've been gone a long time before. This has been the longest. Um, I was concerned, uh, but I hoped you would come back, and you have."
Yeah, it. Oh fuck. Um, did did Alphaeus say anything or send you any messages or anything?
Uh, he said he had not heard from you, and that you were keeping communication. And he said that there was an issue in communicating with you. Um, Previously, we have not had that kind of communication that he expected. I figured there may have been some kind of problem with whatever you all were using to communicate. He didn't give many details, but he did come by a few months back and give me a lump sum of money, uh, and saying that uh, he had not given up all hope, but based on the situation around, he had to focus on other things. And so it was kind of part of the contract where I was given the money that you were owed.
Good. He paid on that. Problems are, putting lightly, what that was. The other part of the deal that I know you know about, that fucker couldn't die.
Who?
Garyu. That asshole who I was supposed to send back in a body bag. He couldn't die. I don't know if he knew this. In fact, not only could he not die, he fucking exploded when he came close to it.
And she seems like really confused by what you're saying. Um, and like you'd probably told her about like the body bag deal.
Right, yeah, but that still is a very odd thing to say, and I'm
Yeah,
aware of it.
yeah. And she's like, um, maybe there's a certain way you have to. Uh, and she kind of shakes her head. She goes, It doesn't matter. That was a bonus if it happened, and it didn't happen. But I'm glad that you're alive."
It's, yeah, I'm lucky to be. Um, we fucked up. We fucked up very, very badly. And not just things didn't go to plan. I think we got a god killed.
And there's just kind of this long silence that I think is probably interrupted by the whistling of the kettle. And it takes like a little bit longer than like is comfortable for anyone in this scene for her to get up and move it off of the stove. And she'll pour both of you some tea. It's probably like a really strong herbal, like you were saying, probably um, something similar to chamomile, but maybe with some more earthy notes in it.
Yeah,
Uh,
sure.
and she'll bring that to you, and then she'll just kind of sit in silence and take a sip. And she goes, You got a god killed, or you killed a god?"
Well, we need to make preparations. Things are going to happen. I didn't see it happen, so maybe this all gets resolved, but I think Rosa's dead now. And it wasn't by us, but I can't say we aren't partially responsible.
Okay. Well, what did you want to prepare for?
The church is going to be in disarray, if that's true, and I don't know. It's certainly going to make people unhappy. General civil unrest would be my thought, but uh, I'm assuming town is going as it usually has. No, nothing was on fire when I got here, so
Well, there's um, she will pause for a minute, and she will say, "Well, there has been some new unsavory types uh, for the past several months, um, kind of sniffing around, trying to run the usual protection racket. Um, I've been able to hold most of them, at bay. Kareem's son has been around to, he's staked out a couple times just to kind of prevent any sort of mischief. But some of the other stores in the area have not been as fortunate.
I. Why are we seeing an increase? Why aren't the guards doing their jobs?
Um, we're at Sorb is at war.
What?
and she will explain that uh,
Amazing.
the rising tension between Taif and Zuke and their not great reason for committing to a war against Sora, but reason enough that they can, go to war. Also, you both have understood that Zuke has been an expanding empire for a long
Sure.
time. Uh, it is. It seems to have been on a very long upswing of power ever since it was unified under the Shinimoto clan, who is essentially the family of the emperor is Shinimoto.
Question on Zuke, actually.
Yeah.
With their ever expansion, I know Damaris is probably the most diverse city.
Hmm.
Uh, does the Zuke Empire, are they overtly racist? Do they have something against Tabaxi in general, or is it not really a concern on that front?
That's not really a concern. There are Tabaxi who live in Zuke. The Tabaxi are pretty spread out. They don't have like a nation of their own.
Right.
Zuke is not really racist. They are predominantly made of, their predominant population is of half orcs and hobgoblins and humans. Um,
Okay.
and orcs as well. It's my world's analog for like China and Mongolia. So they've kind of like had a bunch of countries that were built up, and then they kind of like had a bunch of wars with each other, and then at one point this leader of a horde came in and was trying to control all of it, essentially like Genghis Khan. Got really close, and then based on a previous Assassin's game, he was assassinated. And so that entire thing fell apart a little bit, and it allowed the
Okay.
Shinimoto clan to take control and absorb everything into one empire.
Okay. Cool. Uh, okay. So we are at war. Well, that also answers preparations. War is good for business. We both know this. Everybody wants a sword. Everybody wants something that's going to keep them alive. At
Hmm.
least we won't go under. And worst case, even if Zuke does come down this way, well, they can also spend money here.
Um, yeah, she nods. You're both very pragmatic people. Um, your loyalty is probably just to each other. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, that's a very accurate sentiment of it.
Yeah. Um,
It would suck to lose the shop, and it's a if there was fighting here in the city, that would be a problem, and it would be a pain to relocate. But
you
at the
can
end of the
do it.
day, if it's everybody enlist, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Um, yeah. No, you can. Yeah. So there. She has put most of the money that Alphaeus gave her off. Like she has put it away, and she has not spent it, frivolously. She's also, been regularly making, uh, not deposits, but like regular stacking up, any excess that she has. She's been putting away, just in case something bad happens.
Sure. We did talk about with the money. There was a lot of items that were converted into money.
Yeah.
Did we officially say that we converted the two somewhat special weapons into money? Primarily being the Trident of Fish Command and the Ushibati Blade.
I did not convert those, but that would be an additional 1,500 gold in party funds.
It has nothing to do with the party that's being sold in the shop.
Oh, right, because you've been sending it back to her.
Yes, that is not a party thing.
Okay. Well, the Trident of Fish Command would be gone. The Ushabti blade is oversized. So it's probably still in the shop, like hung up on the wall, and kind of like at the top of like a weapons rack, essentially, so everyone can
Sure.
see. Oh, the weapons rack's over there, and the giant Ushabti blade.
Right, like more like a billboard than an actual weapon.
Yeah. It's a cool piece for sure. Maybe a collector will come in and get it.
Okay, cool. That was just making sure those items were accounted for.
Yeah. No. Okay. So yeah, so you guys, there's that. Alphaeus gave her a lump sum of 2,000 gold. That's technically part of the quote party funds that were owed to y'all.
Okay. Okay.
Plus
A
a
general.
little bit
I'm
extra
sorry.
because there's 6 of
Plus,
you, and you guys have not quite 12,000 gold.
there are 5 of us. Not to be the dick about this, Reese was not part of this.
Then
Clark was.
I think it would be in. So okay, then it would be. It would probably be closer to 2,500 gold then.
And I apologize in advance to Albert, but I guess it's not in advance anymore. But there's no deal.
And hey, yeah, that's. He's getting dicked over in one campaign without gold. Why not this one too? Uh, um,
Okay, cool. General wealth check though. So 20,000 gold or 2,000 gold.
yeah.
It's a significant sum of money, sure, but I can't imagine that's you're not set for life by any means.
No, probably not. But to give you kind of a ballpark here, 2,500 gold is the equivalent of maybe 50 to $60,000 our money.
Okay.
Like a gold piece is basically like $20.
Okay. So for 11 months, making about 50K, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely good. You're not like you're pretty solid with that money, at least for a year.
Yeah, the problem being it was a surprise year.
I mean, yeah, she has accrued money. Let me roll to see how much money she has accrued in a year. Um, this is based off of her persuasion to sell. Um, oh, she's probably added another 850 gold
Good deal.
just from general um, selling. That doesn't include like some. She'll kind of list out some things like basic repairs, restocking,
Sure.
stuff like that. Because she didn't have you coming in and giving her stuff, so she had to go and like buy stuff. She will again mention that Karim-san has helped out a little bit here and there.
I'm I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to hear he made it back okay. I'm that is good. I do suppose I owe him a thank you, if nothing else.
Yeah, it helps to have an imposing Goliath watching your store at night to keep away uh, ne'er do wells.
Yeah. On that same topic, it will kind of dawn on him. These people coming around the shop, are they kids?
She would say no. There was a thing. No, she wouldn't know that. Never mind. Um,
Okay.
uh, she goes, no. These are adults.
Okay. Well, funny enough, I feel a little bit better about that. I have to imagine some of the traveling circus I've been with lately will show up for their cut of money and whatever else they've cooked up in the last 5 minutes, but we'll deal with that when we get there.
Okay. And so she will make a dinner. Probably nothing too fancy, but something nice. Probably like maybe like a fresh roasted chicken with rosemary, maybe some like scalloped potatoes. Break out maybe a cheese and maybe a small, probably light spirit, either like a white wine or a sherry or something like that.
All right, sounds good.
So yeah, you guys you're able to rest and recuperate. You're able to sleep in a bed. uh,
Yeah, yeah, it's a
uh,
big one.
and DPS is usually pretty fine, but it has been a long time, and
Yeah.
um, so yeah, you're able to wake up for day two. Um, and what did you want to do with your day?
Um. Okay, so Dow didn't show up on day one. I actually don't remember the timeline of because I
Well,
know.
okay, so technically, probably closer to the evening, Dow would show up and kind of inform you of what's going on with Garyu, um, and kind of inform you of like what they're planning and stuff like that.
I have got to imagine, in his usual fashion, he would try to sneak up somewhere and send a message of, "Hey, it's Dow,"
Yeah,
and then go
probably.
on talking.
Yeah.
I would have to say at the initial like message of "Hey, it's Dow," Deep would audibly say, "Get the fuck out of my shop."
I imagine Gold Paul be like, "Who are you talking to?"
Just don't worry about it.
um,
He'll listen to what Dow has to say of, "Oh, we're doing this, we're trying to hide, we're setting up." They were setting up like a safe point or whatnot in the slum.
yeah.
And to that, Deep will convey general, if not strong, disinterest of, "I live here. Our job is done. You can do whatever you want. Go for it."
Okay. Um, yeah. So then you've got Dow would probably inform you, be disappointed in your response, but probably not unexpected for Dow at this point.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Um, but yeah, what did you want to do with your second day back at Damaris?
Um, One of the main things, he'd probably have a lazy day or lazy start to his. No shit, no. That it is a bit important that Rosa potentially died the day before. So he would go try to scout out one of the churches or see if there was news on the street about that.
Um, yeah, give me an investigation check.
Alright. That's an 8. That's terrible.
Um, uh, Deep is definitely more of a like he. What are your favorite terrains, by the way? Since you're a ranger.
I believe it was desert and something, but let me check that real quick. Desert and mountain.
Okay. Yeah, he's definitely more of a wilderness guy. Kind of. The only noises he likes are, maybe the call of a bird high in the mountains, or just the general drift of sand across the dunes. The otherwise cacophony of Damaris, which is a massive and crowded city. It is the city with the highest population in the world. It is approaching. It is approaching uh, over 1 million people.
Hmm.
And so you're trying to get any news on that, and you can't really find anything about priests have no powers. That also seems like something they probably wouldn't announce. And
Right.
if it was an issue, they would probably try covering it up, at least for the short term.
Okay. Do people generally seem? I know it's low roll, but people generally seem calm. It's not like panic buying or they're worried about the war.
There is an underlying tension. It's not like people are freaking out or anything like that. It's more of people are maybe being more aware of their surroundings.
Hmm.
Um, and it's not quite as loud as you remember it being, and maybe a little quieter. There's definitely more guards kind of posted regularly. Like, it was already kind of a pretty secure city, aside from the general stuff that kind of happens. And then an incident a few years ago where there was reports of some kind of serial killer that skinned people alive. Uh, you know that old chestnut.
Nice. Yeah.
Other than that, there hasn't been like a new string of murders or anything that you're aware of or is being muttered about.
Well, that's good. Okay. So generally, no information or nothing new about that, or it seems to be covered. There's no panic. The other major thing on his list would be to thank Kareem Sun. He should also talk to Alpheus, but he's not necessarily angry at Alpheus. He's Nobody could have guessed that that was going to happen, but there is frustration
Yeah,
that his name is on the hey, go do this thing. Like, oh, sorry, dude, that took 11 months.
yeah. Uh,
So if possible, he would probably try to go see Kareem-san, and then well, we can go from there.
I mean, where would Deep look for Karim-san?
I assumed he more or less stayed around the estate or Alphaeus' estate, but he would probably approach the guards and ask, "Is Kareem-san here?"
Let's see, it's the second day. They would say that he was here yesterday along with some other people, um, but he left this morning.
Do you know where he's left to?
Both the guards kind of shake their head no. They kind of point the direction he went off, and which Alpheus is in the lion's den, so he would point east actually.
Okay. Did he look like he was traveling out of the city or just taking care of standard business?
He looked like he was in a hurry, but he wasn't like carrying a big pack or anything.
Okay. Thank you for the information. And he'll head out that way. He really doesn't have too much interest in talking to Alpheus at this moment.
Yeah. Okay, so you can head up. You can give me an attempt at a survival check.
All right, let me find it. Say 24.
Uh, okay, yeah, you're able to. Crimson has a pretty big footprint, and Goliaths aren't uncommon, but you're able to kind of see noticeable scuff marks because you also rolled a huge number. Uh, um, you're able to kind of follow. He's going eastward. He seems to be moving pretty quickly. This isn't too long ago, maybe an hour ago. But you can follow these tracks. I assume you follow them.
Yeah. If there were signs that he was moving quickly, Deep would pick up his pace. Otherwise, it would have been a leisure, like, he's over here. I'm going to go find him. But I guess the guards did say he was in a hurry.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's sprinting, but he's tracking someone at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. You can. You get all the way to basically Traveler's Rest, the East Gate, which is where you pass through um, uh, East Gate, which is where the shop is, and to Traveler's Rest, and you can see you can actually see Crimson talking to some of the town guards in their blue capes, breastplates, and with the musket and the longsword. That is the standard issue for them.
Okay. Upon seeing him, does it look like it's frantic talk, or is it they're having a conversation in a civil manner?
No, it's a pretty calm. Uh, it seems that Crimson is questioning the guards.
Okay. Deep will move. He's got decent ears. He will move within earshot, but more of a to be seen of I want to have a word with you, but not I'm intruding on your conversation. But he will kind of be listening a little.
Yeah, give me a perception check.
Sure. I'm gonna go ahead and use inspiration.
Okay.
Are you fucking kidding me? Okay, 15 again.
Yeah, he's not like being really quiet about it. He's like, you can kind of see he's also giving some like physical cues. You see him like put his hand at a certain height, and it's decently tall. And you hear him say like the words like blonde,
Yeah.
big, uh, uh, and he seems about to say like the word Zukayan, but he stops. And he goes, not from around here, wearing, and he's describing Garyu,
Yeah.
and the guards just kind of looking at him like, no one like that has passed through here. Uh, and he goes, well, were you working this morning or last night? And he goes, no, you can go talk to so and so, and Crimson kind of like. And he's like, all right, well, keep an eye out for this individual. And he kind of hands him like a rough, like charcoal sketch of Garyu.
Okay.
Are you wanting to remain hidden, or no?
No.
You
No, he was standing in like
in line
you
of
can see
sight.
me. I'd like to talk to you when you're
That's
done.
right. I remember you saying that now. Um, he will see you. Eyes kind of widen a little bit, and then he'll move over to you. And he goes, "Deep. It's good to see you. I we saw Garyu yesterday, and he was not uh, forthcoming in what happened." Uh,
You don't say.
he just kind of nods, and he goes, "We can go somewhere more private if you wish.
Sure. I just sought you out to thank you, but it sounds like there's a problem.
He nods.
Yeah, Dee will go with him. He has no reason not to.
He will actually take you to the estate. He will take you to the Maple, which is the kind of like the Adventurers Tavern, which is at this hour, which is probably early lunch, like 11 a.m., maybe close to 10. He will take you in there. It's pretty quiet. There's some people in here. There's not a lot. He'll take you to like a small booth, and he's like, um, and he just kind of looks at you and goes, thank me for what?
I understand you've been keeping an eye on my shop in my absence. I do appreciate that. It has at least one thing of great value to me.
He nods. He goes, there's been some increase in underground activity.
And I have questions about that, but your problem first.
Um, Garyu came to the estate and talked with Alphaeus over a, um, he'll say like a magical device, as Alphaeus is not in town and is too busy to return to town to talk and take a report. So he could take one magically. Uh,
Sure.
and he said that the Titan King's son was killed, and that's
Deep will kind of give him a
all.
long look.
And that's all we got.
Well, that may be true. A lot has happened. And Alphaeus probably does need that information.
um, he uh, nods.
In all likelihood, the Titan King's son is. And are they in the tavern, or are they safe?
Yeah,
Or at
you're
least
you're
in a
you're in
private
like a
situation?
you're in like a like I imagine this tavern has it's not like open air everywhere. It's kind of like if you would go into like a modern pub and they've got like the bench seats around a table, and then behind those benches they have walls like partitions, so you could still have like a relatively private conversation without
Okay.
a lot of people overhearing you. This is an adventurers tavern. It's used to like having people who kind of come in groups but don't really want to interact with other people.
Okay. Uh, Deep won't actually. It is big news, so he won't actually say he's dead, but he'll get to the. It's most likely he's. And just kind of nod slowly.
Crimson appreciate that because it has been some time since you've been in since you left initially.
A lot has happened, and, well, we we have some problems. I'm sure you probably know of some of them at least.
Um, he goes, I have not been able uh, uh, to contact Alphaeus since yesterday.
Great. Um, wait. What, a magical device? Did it happen to rely on a deity?
He shakes his head. No, it seems that towards the tail end of his conversation uh, with, or the short conversation with Garyu, that Alphaeus was, and he searches for a word, and then he gets frustrated, and he just kind of shrugs a little bit, and he goes, "He was attacked," and it's a magical device similar to the sending stones, but with a visual component as well.
Okay.
Like, he basically was struggling to say that Alphaeus had been attacked. That would not be a good thing to say, but he is
Right.
not a wordsmith.
I don't think either of these people are.
No.
Well, the big news that isn't really hidden anymore. The Maelstrom's gone.
Okay. That seems to be relatively news to Kareem-san.
And a lot of uh, bad things have happened as a result. That uh, you don't know if Alphaeus is coming back. You don't know where he is. Who's taking charge in his stead?
There is a there is a chain of command in the city. It is it has been handled and set up in place in such cases such as event.
Okay.
Currently, I believe the current uh, Braxton Benet is the governor, and uh, Nika Schaeffler is Captain. Nika Schaeffler is the captain of the City Watch. And then there's the Bishop Gabriela Navarro, and um, the commander of the Paladins in town is the Knight Marshal Cedric Cast.
Okay. He probably wouldn't have great relations with them. He's not super great with people. Yes, they have a shop, but it's not like, oh, I'm gonna go, rub elbows with the
Yeah,
governor or the city guard
probably
or
the
the
only
captain.
person that you would know about, and it's one of the people he didn't mention, is Etheron or Calvin, and they're the tax collector and treasurer of the city.
Hmm.
So anytime you've got to set up a shop or you have to pay like a taxes on stuff, you have to send it to
Right.
him.
Well, there is a bigger thing than the maelstrom stopping. Have you? And again, he'll kind of look around, even though they're in a private situation. Have you noticed anything strange with the church as of yesterday?
He nods. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, that's going to be a problem.
I'm not sure if the is the maelstrom disappearing and the problem with the church related to each other.
Much like the Titan King's son, Rosa was there.
It's like the god, like the actual deity.
Yeah, yeah. And I say was. I think we have a very serious problem in the city that relies on that god.
Um, he he nods. Um, he goes, I'm still trying to contact Alphaeus.
That would be good. We, as He needs to hear some things and get cogs moving in the right place. A lot happened while we were out there, and a lot more is going to happen.
And he just kind of heavily sighs for a moment. Um, and yeah, you're free to. He's not going to ask you any more questions. You've kind of given him the basic,
Right.
if somewhat vague, gist. And I mean, his first concern is trying to get in contact with Alpheus. But you can ask him questions if you want.
Um, Deep would actually ask, with the war going on. I'm sorry, I can actually do it. With the war going on, how is that looking for us? Or how is that looking for Damaris?
Uh, he he says, "I am not a tactician. It seems that the main barrier uh, in taking Damaris is the fact that we are separated by the Cyclone Sea. So it is predominantly a naval engagement."
Hmm. I thought Zuke had a pretty good navy, don't they?
He nods. Izuke has a good navy, but uh, for a while, the um, the Cerebian navy uh, is was substantial.
Hmm.
Not to mention that they have a pretty, at least in Damaris, not necessarily in all of Sora, but they have a pretty lax policy on piracy. They don't have a lot of bounties out for pirates. It's not exactly a pirate haven, but they don't um, like pirates have docked in Damaris before,
Sure.
and they
And if you
haven't.
don't cause trouble, no one's going to come looking for you, kind of thing.
Yeah, and this is a huge hub. It's a port hub of the world. So they as long as they have valuables and they don't cause trouble, there's not usually a lot of questions asked.
Okay.
There are of course exceptions, but
All right. Um, I'm sure you probably don't know this too well, but what about supply lines? Is there anything the city's looking for in general? This is 100% self-serving for the shop.
yeah, no, I get that. He would say, "We are uh, we are currently stockpiling gunpowder."
Mm.
Um, and any uh, it has always been a avenue of Alpheus to diversify the military in Sorib and Damaris specifically with non divine magics, which has been a problem because of the church.
Well, looks like that bet might be paying off.
So Damaris as a whole is relatively secure, and that it also helps that again it's a big trading hub, so they can get most of the things that they want.
All right. Okay. Good. Well, that's good. That's good. Uh, the other thing I did want to ask, with all the trading, you mentioned that we're seeing an increase of maybe not bandits, because we've always had bandits, but what's going on?
Um, the this Let me make sure I'm just going to say this right. The Seikawa Syndicate has always been in Damaris. With rising tension leading up to the war, they increased activity in the city, and they have an increased presence. Um, they're uh, unfortunately one of the or maybe, and he goes, one of the first things that they did was to um, establish their spy network, and to do that, they had to um, eliminate or absorb some of the smaller um, uh, he he says gangs, essentially factions.
On on that, you will, or Deep's, ear will kind of twitch, and it's not a panic, but there is a moment of concern of, have you seen Dao?
And he shakes his head. No.
He'll take care of himself and figure it out. Whatever.
But that the Blood Fangs um, was one of those factions. Um,
Hmm. Do you know if they were wiped out or absorbed?
he kind of shrugs. He goes, I it's probably most situations it's a combination of both.
Fair enough.
Um, we've also
Is there?
go ahead.
Sorry, good.
There's also been an increased Dead Eyes activity, and the consortium has been laying low for a while. I believe they're planning something.
Are these two factions I would know of?
You would know of the Grolsch Consortium. The Grolsch Consortium is it's kind of like saying the Italian mob.
Okay.
It's a little more specific than that. It's the Italian mob in Damaris. There is a singular leader, but they have their hands and fingers in all sorts of pies throughout the city.
Sure.
Mostly in construction and the I forgot what I called them, but in the sewer maintenance essentially.
I gotcha.
And then the Dead Eyes are kind of they're they're like they're kind of like the lowest rung of like a organized crime. They're essentially just highwaymen. Like they don't really have grand schemes. They're just kind of short term plans. Rob people on the road leaving Damaris or in the alleyways where they're not really protected. They're just kind of cutthroats and thieves. They're,
Okay. It sounds like they're big enough to be noticed, but not really too big for anyone to take a serious, like,
I mean,
action.
they're taken seriously because there's some like low level assassins among them. It's usually actually where thieves guilds and certain organizations will recruit younger members from.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Younger, more
That's
violent members from.
I got you. With the increased activity, are they targeting anything in particular, or is this just a turf war?
Yeah, the Saikawa Syndicate definitely made their turf war with the smaller, lesser known individual. There was kind of an equilibrium up until 6 or 7 months ago when they increased their activity um, and began to snuff out some of the smaller things or absorb them. But they didn't get into a turf war with the consortium, and the Deadeyes don't really have turf here. I mean, they do, but it's not. So
Um, oh shit, I guess I would know where the rest of the team is hiding out, or at least Dow would have said that we're setting up shop here. Um, is there, and I'm sure you probably don't go there often, but has there been any big action or anyone trying to take over the Surfside slums? Is that what
He nods. He goes, the syndicate owns that place now. The Saikawa, the Saikawa syndicate owns that place now.
Interesting. How aggressive or violent would you say they're being towards things they want?
Um, they've been quiet recently. Like I said, 6 months ago, they kind of made a informed. They cut an informed swath through the areas in the docks.
Hmm. Well, if you can, keep an eye on the area. It may be another powder keg for the city.
He nods.
Well, with that, as I've said, I do appreciate you keeping an eye out on my shop in my absence. Is there anything I can do to help you before I go, or is there something that you need done around the town?
He pauses and he goes, "I may need a rain check on this favor."
You know where my shop is, and you have proven to at least be reliable.
He nods. I appreciate it.
And with that, Deep will get up and take his leave.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to do that. What else do you want to do with your time?
Just for the general activity of there has been somewhat turf wars, there has been a lot of movement with that new information. Uh, Deep would kind of go towards the shop, or at least go towards that district
Mm-hmm.
and start looking out for, hey, is there something going on that I didn't notice before? Are there trying to paint what is happening in there for himself of, is there a problem that I need to do something about now?
Um, I mean, like you probably would actually see like um, a bald, muscular man wearing mm, clothes better suited to someone else. Like they don't fit quite right.
Mm.
Like they're maybe made for like an overweight guy, and he's not overweight. And he's talking with a shop owner, maybe not next to, but like a few store fronts down from Goldpaw. And you see an exchange of like the shop owner giving him a just like discreetly, but you're looking for these kind
Yeah.
of things. Discreetly giving him money. You also notice that this shop owner has a healing black eye. It's almost all gone, but it's maybe a week old.
Okay. Um, if they're finishing up their transaction there, Deep will kind of tail him to see, like, hey, is he going near my shop? It sounds like there was an altercation, and I can guess with whom.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant the shop owner had a healing black eye.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I misread that then.
Yeah.
I thought the heavy had a black eye.
No.
Yeah, no, I'm going to keep a more serious eye on him.
So he kind of comes out. He puts the bag away. He kind of goes and repeats this process at another store across the street. Um, and you see another man, probably very skinny and reedy, with his hair kind of pulled back into a ponytail. Uh, he's got uh, he's got not 5 o'clock shadow, but like 5 day shadow.
I gotcha.
And he's carrying it. He's pulled basically a similar bag out, and he's got like this kind of cocky grin on his face. And then they both kind of join up with each other, and they look over at the store for Goldpaw, and then they both shake their head and they keep moving.
Oh, right. Yeah. Hmm. If with that, Deep is going to try to follow them, but he'd also kind of poke his head into the shop and just a quick everything okay.
Yeah, there's probably like maybe one or two customers looking at the weapons rack. And there's probably like not necessarily like a. I imagine you guys have a shorthand, almost like thieves' can't, but it's kind of your own thing, where it's like,
Yeah.
probably like you asking questions like, "Hey, are you selling any mustard seeds?" And then like the correct response for like everything's fine here is like, "No, we don't have any of those. Check down the street." That kind of situation
Yeah.
where it's like everything's fine here. Whereas if the answer was like, yeah, let me go get them, they're in the back, it would probably, because you guys don't, there's no reason for you guys to sell seeds.
Right. I gotcha. And it came back as a everything's good.
Everything's good, yeah.
Okay. He will go back out and see if he can get a tail on those guys from
Yeah,
a distance, just to see where.
yeah. I imagine you want to do this discreetly.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and give me a stealth check.
Um. boop, Man, I'm rolling like garbage. 14.
14. Okay, and go ahead and give me a. Okay. Go ahead and give me a survival check to track them.
19.
19. Okay. Yeah, you're able to follow them. They don't pop into every business. Uh, they do pop into the occasional one. The people on the street kind of give them a wide berth. They're at one point they're joined by a third man with kind of red wild hair who's kind of hunched over, and he is not wearing a shirt, which is not uncommon. It is a warm, late summer day in Damaris, so it's 85, 90 degrees outside. It's not cool. Um, uh, and you're far enough away from the coast, or not from the coast, but from the beach itself, that there's not a whole lot of wind in this area. And the thing you notice about him is he's got these big tattoos kind of going across his shoulders and his upper back into what looks like some kind of screaming bird, or like a flock of screaming birds.
All right.
Um, so yeah, they keep going down the street. At one point, you see them kind of look around on the street, kind of looking to see who's coming and going. They don't seem to notice you, but they all enter a shop together.
Is it a shop that has been there that I know what it is? Or
Yeah. It is. It's a pottery shop owned by an elderly half work woman who she like hand makes the pottery. She's been in and you know uh, said hello to you. Uh, you- I mean, do you know her name?
do I know Hemming?
Do you know her name?
Oh, do I know her name? Honestly, Deep wouldn't.
Okay.
Like, even if they were being nice, just say, like, all right, yeah, orc woman. Or half orc woman.
Yeah. Let me. Yeah. You would know her as Akrisha. I'll put that in. Um, put that in chat for you so you can see how it's spelled. She's an older half orc woman. She's probably in her 70s. Her hair is almost all white, and it's been pulled back, and she her hands are almost kind of stained a red brown color from working with clay like almost all her life. She's got a big uh, oven that she cures the clay in to make pottery, and she makes really beautiful pottery. She's got like a whole rack of glazes and stuff like that. She paints it, and she has like one window in her store, and on a pedestal is a white painted vase with a beautiful like kind of like ivy design on it, working its way up to the mouth. And these three dudes walk into her shop.
Um, shit. I can't imagine it's a very big shop.
It's not. No, it's not super big.
Okay. People take a moment and then go in behind them. He's not. Shit, fuck. I guess he would kind of go up to the doorway stealthily to kind of see what's going on with that. Yeah.
Are you just trying to listen like through the door?
Yeah, it's more of like, hey, are these guys going to rough up an old woman? Or is this a front?
Yeah, they uh, before they're like, all right, and they're basically they're like saying, hey, sucks that your husband passed, but we need some money to make sure that you're going to be safe, since he's gone now.
Mm. Fucking fuck. Deep will open the door. He's not doing it to be a grand entrance. He's doing it more of an open the door and a like, oh, hey.
Yeah, like you're a customer.
Yeah.
And the three men kind of turn and look at you, size you up for a moment, and since it's been a while and things have happened, do you care to re-describe what Deep looks like now?
Sure. Uh, Goodness. So he's kind of a gray, stripy, probably not the best furred tabaxi of maybe doesn't spend the time to take care of it. He'd still be having leather armor, kind of a smaller creature being tabaxi, not like he is of small size, but around
Slender.
average height,
Yeah.
slender, and maybe slightly hunched just from I like to move quietly kind of ordeal. Usually has a hood with him, but wouldn't typically be pulled up if he was just walking around or if he was trying to look friendly or presentable, especially not as a customer or in front of customers, as he's constantly told.
Don't wear your hood in front of customers.
Right. Don't scare people away. You want them for something.
Yeah.
And a remarkably, probably the best looking thing on him would be his crossbow or his thing of in best repair would be his crossbow. Everything else probably has nicks and little cuts coming out of it. Maybe even, you can see some of the recent battle damage or a nick out of the ear kind of thing, but not in terrible shape.
Yeah, so they kind of all look at you and size you up. And the old woman kind of like she genuinely smiles at her. She's got like the wrinkles around her eyes that kind of like go down her face, and when she smiles, like her cheeks get real big and kind of force her eyes closed. Situation. A
Mm.
very friendly looking woman, very grandmotherly. Even though you think she doesn't have kids.
Right.
I don't know. She probably doesn't have a husband anymore, based on the
That's what it
context.
sounds like, yeah.
And they all kind of look at you, and let's see how stupid these guys are. Well, that's a natural one, so they're dumb as hell. Uh, they'll be like, "Hey, man, we got some business with the old lady here. Once we're done, you can come in."
More than one person can look at pots at a time.
Yeah, we're looking for a bulk order and need to see some of the samples, and you'll see the big guy who's probably like 6'2", 6'3", in that ill-fitting suit with the bald head, kind of move forward, kind of stretching out his height and his shoulders and his arms, kind of in that really shitty high school posturing way.
Right.
Not taking in the clues of your appearance at all.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, a bulk order. That's great. I can probably help carry some of the pots, and we can really discuss some of the finer points. I know she does some fantastic work. In fact, I just saw some of the town guards walking by. They're quite strong. They could even potentially help if you needed to wheel them out somewhere. I'm sure they'd love to.
Go ahead and give me a deception check with all the bonuses that Deep has.
Surprisingly, none.
Surprising.
Oh, it should have been better. It was only a 10.
Um, and like the big guy who's posturing kind of looks over to his two companions, the one that doesn't have a shirt on, which is kind of weird. like you'll usually see people without their shirts on near the docks because it's like, okay, you're doing manual labor, it makes sense, cool. Here it's kind of weird. It's kind of like seeing a guy with his shirt off in the middle of a mall. Like
Right.
you've probably
Yeah.
seen this, but you look at that guy and you're like, come on, man.
You shouldn't see it.
Yeah. And so that guy with the red hair, and then the kind of reedy dude with the pulled back black ponytail, they all kind of move in up beside the big guy. And they're not short. They're all probably taller than you. And they're all like, yeah, why don't you step outside for a bit?
Okay. I think I see what's going on here, and I don't think I'm conveying this well enough to you. You need, all of you, to fucking leave this store right now, or and it will draw his crossbow, I will be whittling you down to the bone with an old hairbrush, and then selling that bone marrow for dog food. And what I can't get good out of that, I will turn into fertilizer and grow a fucking garden out of you if you do not leave.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a really cool intimidation check with advantage there, bud. That was fucking cool.
Incoming natural one.
You hiccup in the middle.
Just burps. Oh, it only got 9.
You got a 9. And like you could see Krisha like behind the counter is like nodding, kind of like not giving you a thumbs up, but like, hey, yeah, cool, awesome. And these three dudes, you drew your crossbow. Um, uh, let's go ahead and roll initiative real quick.
Sure. That is 10. I am rolling like garbage.
Wow. Okay. Well, I rolled a natural 1 for one of them. And you roll a 10, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. So first off, the guy, like the stooped guy with like no shirt on, the guy you don't want to attack you first, attacks you first.
All right.
He like jumps towards you, and then he like puts his legs forward, showing some semblance of martial arts prowess. I don't think a 13 hits you though.
Nah.
So he like jumps, like does a jump kick, and you just kind of move out of the way, and then he's gonna try and spin around with the same kick with his second attack. Does a 19 hit?
It'll hit.
Okay. So he's able to basically land and then like do a spin kick into you, and he will do a total of 8 damage.
Okay. And he is ending his turn next to me. I'm not trying to belabor this.
Yeah.
The scout ability will let him move half his distance away. He'll be trying to. He got hit, but he's trying to bring them outside. So he'll be like backing up towards the door to try to like, yeah, come on, get me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You can with 15 feet, you can probably get through the door.
Okay.
All right. The next guy up is the big bald guy. He's gonna move forward and attack you. Wow, he rolls a natural 20. Holy shit.
All right.
It's fine. 2d4 plus 3 coming at you. He's just using his fists, and he's okay. That is a total of 9 damage.
Ouch.
And make he's gonna make a bonus action grapple check on you.
Okay.
So he has a. So yeah, go ahead and make an athletics check to oppose him.
24.
Yep. Yeah. You. He like tries. He swings at you, punches, and then he kind of like goes to put you in like a headlock, but you're able to duck out of the way, and it's your go.
Okay. I'm in combat with him. These are just guys, but that's fine. This needs to be made an example of. So I do have a question about.
Yeah.
If we're trying to do non-lethal damage.
You just say, "Hey, I'm not trying to kill this guy."
Okay.
It's usually like the last hit. You can say that, but you know, they simplified it pretty easily.
Okay. Because I don't want to kill these guys.
No.
No.
Okay.
One moment. Let me make sure I've got the right shit on here. Okay. He will actually use Zephyr Strike as a spell to back out of range or of melee range from him. And he will fire bolts, preferably at his knee or non-lethal kind of area.
Trying to make him no longer an adventurer. I see how it is. Let's go for
it.
All right. Roll your attack roll.
Is a 28 going to hit him?
Yeah, these guys do not have high AC. They're not wearing armor.
Yeah, I imagine. Let's see. And that will be a 14 for the first bullet.
Okay, yeah, you hit this guy in the knee, and he's automatically like, ah! He's like automatically kind of like taken out of. And who are you hitting? The bald guy?
The bald guys, because he was probably in the doorway.
Yeah.
Based on the layout of the shop, well, honestly, Deep won't shoot into the room full of pottery. He's a good shot, but
Yeah, I get you.
it'll be more of a. The rest of his turn will be looking of, do you really want to do this?
The others seem like even more enraged that you shot their friend. So,
All right.
and he's still up. He's just taking.
Oh, he's still up. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Then he's going to get another bolt to the knee.
his other name, this Ace Ventura. Ah, ah.
18 going to hit him.
Yes.
That'll be another 9 damage.
Okay, 9 plus the initial 14 is 23. So, yeah, he's still up.
Okay.
And that's your go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Reedy guy will. You'll see him pull he's basically pulling out like a knife, but it's really it's a really small stiletto, like easily hidden, very narrow, and he kind of moves forward, but he does not attack you.
Okay.
He moves forward, and then he seems to be waiting on something. So the you've hit the bald guy in both of his legs. I'm just gonna go ahead and give him half movement, but it is the 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 red-haired guy's turn with the tattoos and no shirt. It's his turn. He's gonna move up and try to hit you again. Natural 20. Oh, this dice does not like you. It's okay. It's only 8 points of bludgeoning damage. And then his he will go ahead and flurry of blows as a bonus action for 2 attacks. That is a dirty 20, and then that was it's a 10. So I rolled minimum damage, so he will do 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
All right.
And as he gets into melee, and he kind of comes in with these 2 swings, and then he tries to reach out with the kick, and he misses you. But as you dodge to the side, the guy who was waiting uses his reaction to sneak attack you with a natural 20. Jesus Christ!
Jesus, that's 3.
That is, well, that's rough. Okay. So that, and he's sneak attacking, which is the worst part.
Yeah.
So it doubles all his dice, which. Okay. That's a lot. I rolled 4 ones on 4 of those dice.
That's good.
He was rolling 6, so that's. That's only 19 damage. Oh no, I'm sorry,
All right.
16 damage. On a sneak attack crit, that's
Yeah, that's not bad.
it's super shitty, but I'm kind of glad that it's not more.
Yeah.
All right, and then it's the bald guys go, who will. He's gonna try and move up and gang up on you again. He rolls to hit. And he hits. So he does a total of 6 points of bludgeoning damage. And then
Alright.
he's going to use a bonus action to try and grab you again with a 21.
Oh, 24.
Okay, yeah, you're once again able to slip from his grasp, and it is your go.
Okay. Well, that has sucked so far.
Yeah.
Bup, 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 bup. So we are in the street at this point, yeah?
Yeah, it's this. The fight is spilling onto the street for sure.
Okay. I'm gonna try to use a potion. So I'm going to bonus action disengage.
Yep.
For a potion, are you using that as an action or a item interaction?
Yeah, you can use a potion. That's just a use object, so you get one for free.
All right.
It's only when you're like feeding it to someone that it's a more involved activity at that point.
Oh, okay. On top of this, I'll get back to that in a moment. I'll just use that potion real quick.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I mean,
That's only 7 healing.
okay.
I had my dice locked up. And I couldn't. Anyway, so he will bonus action disengage, and as he's going back, he's actually going up as his flying boots are going.
Okay.
So, from that vantage, he will then continue to rain down bolts. Again, not trying to be lethal, but
Yeah, go for your attack. You're attacking the bald guy again.
uh, yeah, let's put the first one in there. Because of the probably the angle on that, it would probably be like a shoulder or something. Again, non-lethal.
Okay.
27 to hit.
Yeah, you definitely hit him.
There's a 14 plus. One moment. Oh wait, no, there's no plus. So 14.
Yeah. You'll drop him. He had 2 hit points left.
Well then, that. No, I never use it. Fucking. Okay, the next bolt will go to the asshole who's not sneak attack.
Okay.
18 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
And 8 damage.
Okay. Yeah, you do 8 damage. He's pissed. But yeah, okay, that was your go. The guy with the little stiletto will he'll pull out like a throwing dagger and try and throw it at you. With I think a 15 misses.
That's actually right on the money.
Oh, it does it? Okay.
Yeah.
It's no sneak attack though, so it's only 4 points of piercing damage.
All right.
And you used your disengage and you flew up 30 feet.
Yeah.
Okay. The guy with the wild red hair and the angry birds on his shoulders will he's gonna spend a key to double his jump distance. He's gonna climb up on the roof and try to jump at you and to grapple you out of the sky.
All right.
So yeah, his grapple check is that's kind of sad, a 16. Athletics. So you've got to oppose that.
What was the roll that I'm opposing?
Athletics. So you got to roll in athletics.
I have 14.
Oh, so he grabs you.
All right.
Uh, okay. So you're both flying, but you're slowly lowering because of the weight of him. The bald guy's unconscious on the ground, and then it's your go.
I will try to break the grapple.
Okay, you can either use acrobatics or athletics to do that.
I will use acrobatics. 24. I love 24 for these grappling checks.
Yeah, you got it. You break free.
And that fucker can fall.
Yeah, he would definitely fall. You said 30 feet up, so he's going to take 3d6 falling damage. Okay, that's a decent amount of damage. Yeah, so you're up in the air, and there's these two guys on the ground.
And that was my action to shake him off. So I have my bonus action. I would just use Slayer's Prey on him, so we're not going to fall for that trick again. The one that was just thrown off.
Yeah. All right, the other guy takes out. He unsheathes this dagger that has like this weird barbed edge to it, and it seems to be coated in some kind of. It has like that rainbow hue in the light of like a chemical, and he's gonna throw it at you. Okay, that is a 19.
Okay, I was gonna say if you say another 20, Ben.
No. So it will do 4 piercing damage, and can you make a Constitution saving throw?
Natural 20.
Okay, cool. So you don't gain the poisoned condition.
That's good.
Yeah. And that was Reed's go, Red Crow.
You jump up here again if you want.
He doesn't know any better. He'll try to do the same thing again.
All right.
So, do you get like an attack on him or something?
No, I have an advantage on making abilities to escape the grapple.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see if he can actually get up there and grapple you. Okay, he rolls a 24.
You got me again?
I'm sorry, 22, not 24.
Yeah, I rolled really low, so you got me.
Okay. You can still fire your crossbow, by the way, while being grappled.
Yes, but to shake him off is the action.
I'm just saying, instead of shaking him off, though, you could shoot him if you wanted.
I guess that's true. How bad is he looking? He had a pretty nasty fall.
He had a decent fall. He's looking rough. He's also not wearing. He's again not wearing a shirt. It's gross. And he's while he has shown some incredible athleticism, it's sheer muscle power. It's not like quick. I mean, it is quick, but it's not like dexterous. So his AC is not very high.
That's fair.
And because he's grappling you, you're both grappling each other. I would give you advantage on the attack roll against him.
All right, I'll take it. I was just thinking at this point, like, all right, I can just put bolts in him. He's right here.
Do you want to sharpshooter him?
Yeah.
Okay. Roll that natural 20 and just obliterate this guy.
I wish. It's actually a 13 on that first.
That hits.
Oh, ouchie.
Yeah.
Hold up then.
Well, he's bad.
So it starts with 19, and he was also marked for Slayer's Prey.
Yeah.
Okay, it's another 4, so 23.
23 damage?
Yeah.
All right, let's go with you as he falls unconscious. and falls to the ground, taking falling damage. But since he's at 0, that's a failed saving throw.
Yeah, well, I tried not to kill them.
Yeah.
And that puts. Actually, that puts Hunter's, or I'm going to put Hunter's Mark as my bonus on the remaining one, and he gets the last shot.
Okay.
Well, if he tries to run, you can't run.
Yeah, no.
And sharpshooting.
Okay.
Natural 1.
Okay. He will run at this point. He'll see like his 2 down comrades, and he'll start running away. He will use the bonus action to dash, his move to dash, and his regular move to move 90 feet away.
That's cute.
It would work on anyone else but you.
Yeah. It would, wouldn't it?
It would legitimately work on 90% of the other characters that I've ever played against. So, or that he's ever come across too. All right, it's your go, bud.
Okay, so we are going to go ahead and use bonus action sprint and feline agility, which doubles my movement speed.
Sweet, so you're on top of him.
And you still Hunter's Mark, so I'm not going to fucking lose him. And yeah, we're going to put some bullets into him.
All right, go for it.
17 hit.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, there we go. 13 and another 4, so there is 17. Second shot coming in. 22 will hit.
Yeah.
And that is 15 more damage.
Yeah, he's down for the count.
All right.
As you've been doing this, the people in the streets have been like, "What? Ah! Ah!" Just hear this repertoire of your crossbow kind of going off. These guys, it has caused somewhat of an incident.
Good. Deep will take the downed one that did get a reasonable distance away and just drag him back to the other.
Okay.
And just kind of pile them up in front of the shop. He's waiting for the guards.
Yeah. Acretia will kind of like poke her head out from her store and give you kind of like a big smile as she looks over at these like stacked like tinder, like firewood thugs, and she goes, "Did you want to buy anything?"
I just happen to be coming by. Is everything okay?
Oh yes, thank you. And she kind of like comes out, and like she's not slight. She's just old, but she's still got like kind of like muscular shoulders from having to like work pottery, and she just like punches one of the dudes in the ribs.
Yes,
and
I was gonna suggest that.
And she like comes out, like punches it, and you just hear this soft noise of like after the meat impact sound. And she nods and kind of like goes back in and comes back out with a dustpan to kind of like sweep her front stoop and like get them dirty.
With that, actually, it probably isn't the best thing for Deep to be there when the guards do show up. Maybe, maybe not. And he will kind of lean over to Acretia as she's going through this of, can you perhaps tell the local guards that there was an incident here and you know.
Yeah. And she'll kind of like nod for you to take your arrow, like your bolts out.
Yeah.
And she'll go in the back and she'll come forward, and she's carrying this massive pot, like it's It's like 4 feet tall, and it's got like some carvings on it. It's technically like a storage pot for like wine or oil or something. And she just kind of comes out, and it's been cured, but it hasn't been glazed or colored or anything like that yet. And she just kind of comes over and just smashes it on top of them. And you just hear this ah from the pile of gardens. He goes, "Of course, they tripped and fell into a big pot. I don't know what to tell you."
Very, very clumsy. You should watch where you're walking in a pottery store.
It's true. It says right there. There's like a sign that says, "Be careful where you step." Like, because she owns a pottery store, she would have shit like
Right.
that.
Right, yeah.
And so yeah, she's happy to say you weren't there. She doesn't know what happened. They came and they walked and broke this pottery.
Right. Yeah, Deep will kind of wink and a nod be off from there because he did get fairly hurt.
Yeah. So yeah, you walk away. Is there anything else you wanted to do with your second day out and about?
No, after that, he'd honestly probably just go home, was like pulling out the garbage that the guy was throwing at him and just kind of tend to his own wounds of, good, great,
Yeah.
nothing has changed.
On the third day, Dow would ask if you wanted to be in the meeting with Alphaeus.
He would oblige that because he does need to make sure it was part of their deal that he would convey the information,
Yeah.
and he wants to return the bags that Alphaeus gave him for the role.
Yeah, so you're able to do that. You have, since you have the bags, like the money that the entire party gets is yours since you're the treasurer, and it's kind of your job to divvy it up to the group.
They'd all be getting an even cut. He's not going to cheat them on that one.
Okay. Well, with the exception of Reese, of course.
Reese was not betting. He's not being cheated. He wasn't part of it. He was in the tower.
Yeah. No, I. He's, as Garyu keeps calling him, he's a guardian. He shouldn't be here.
I will say, on the topic of Garyu, while they're having that conversation, Deep probably would have not necessarily zoned out, but during some of what they were hearing of, oh, maybe be Pirate King, maybe get Frederick, Deep probably at one point when they were mentioning Frederick would have said out loud instead of thinking, oh, good, maybe we can have Garyu blow him up or something. And get a deserving front kick.
Yeah. All right, sir. And I think that's where we'll stop the solo session. For
Good
now.
deal.